Welcome to Biblically Lit, conversations that illuminate Scripture and ignite faith. I'm your host, MindiJoFurby, author and founder of Kingswind Books. Hello, friends. Thanks so much for joining me today. Over the course of this podcast, I have had the distinct privilege of interviewing several of my favorite people in the whole world. But the key to that sentence is some, because today I get to introduce you to my absolute favorite person in the world, my husband, Sean. He is my best friend. He is the first person that I tell everything to, and the only one that I tell everything to, if I'm being honest. I actually saw a reel or something the other day, and it was two babies. I think they were twins, and they were laying down next to each other, and one of them was just chatting incessantly in the other one's ear, and the other one was just laying flat on his back, just staring at the ceiling. And the caption said, "When an introvert is around their favorite person." And that pretty much sums up how I am around Sean. I tell him everything all the time, and he is sweet and patient enough to listen to me ramble and verbally process. He is also, I say this all the time, he is my exhale. He is my safe place. He is the one that I can completely let my guard down around. I know that I'm 100% safe with him, and I'm able to trust him completely. He is also my baby daddy. Together we have four beautiful, sassy, spunky, crazy girls who make us laugh and occasionally want to cry. But we're on this crazy ride of parenting together, learning more about God and ourselves than we ever dreamed possible. Sean is patient, he is kind, he is involved, and he is the absolute best father. Our girls have no clue how blessed they are, but I suspect that they'll begin realizing it more and more the older that they get. Sean is also our provider. He fulfills his calling and role as a husband and father to work hard and provide for us. He works diligently. He excels at everything he does, and I'm thankful every day for his integrity and his work ethic. He is also talented. He's incredibly gifted in his field of aviation, and if he gets around another pilot, just walk away unless you are also in that industry, because they kind of go off in their own little world. But he is also our household handyman, a musician, the captain of our boat, literally, we do have a boat, a sound technician, the sound technician of Biblically Lit. This wouldn't be possible without him. He's our landscaper, he's our family DJ, and so much more. He supports us, encourages us, calms us down. Hello, 5 females in the house. Provides for us, makes us laugh, keeps us safe, pushes us to be more like Jesus, and that is the best part. We happily and eagerly follow him as he follows Jesus. We love every minute of it. He is our breath of fresh air and the one we turn to when we need to be regrounded in truth and just reality in general. Let's be honest. I love my husband, and anyone blessed enough to know him loves him too. So welcome, babe.
Well, thank you so much. I think we should probably, I don't know, make that kind of a daily thing. Like we'll just start our mornings with, or maybe since this is the Valentine's Day podcast, maybe we already do.
Yes, we totally already do this. Every morning we just stare into each other's eyes and we read a whole page of affirming thoughts.
I don't have to read it.
Nice. Yeah, showing me up already. Okay, so we are totally winging this episode. We didn't prepare very much, I gathered some questions that we have been asked via social media or text message or things like that, because I've posted a couple different places. If you have any questions, Sean and I are going to be doing a podcast together. And so we've gathered some of those questions. So that's what we're going to be answering tonight. But we did not prepare for these at all. We haven't talked about it beforehand. So this is either going to go really well or really poorly. But hey, it's real. Maybe we should have. We, for some reason, thought it'd be more fun not to. But hey, it's full. Okay, so first question. How did we meet?
That's a question for me.
It's going to be because... Well, actually, pause right here. When we were doing premarital counseling, our pastor wisely said, because he knew both of us fairly well, he said, Mindi, you need to let Sean answer first, because if you don't, all he's going to say after you finish talking is ditto. So
That's not true.
It's 100% true.
I am much more talkative than some others, but not more than you. No. So how did we meet? Let's see. It would
be interesting to see how your version of reality is.
So it was 2008-ish, 2009. So I guess it was 2008-ish. Yeah. Somewhere in there. So I started attending a very small church in our town of Pinehurst, North Carolina. It was, I don't know, 60, 70 people there.
The most.
So it was in a little storefront, and I had started attending that church for a variety of reasons. It was not my home church. Well, it had not been the church I grew up in. Maybe that's the right way to say it. So started attending this little church in Pinehurst, and out of 70 people, the people under the age of,
40.
Yeah, let's go with 40.
Well, between the ages of like 5 and 40.
Yeah, 5 and 40.
There
was about 6. So maybe not that many. So started getting involved there, was playing on the worship team.
Guitar. He plays guitar.
Yes. Yeah. Very.
He's cool.
No. But anyway, was playing on the worship team. And so from my vantage point in the corner of the storefront that we were in, I got to know pretty much all the faces. Kind of, I might not have known all the people by name, because that's not my gifting. But yeah, got to know who the regulars were. And so there was this girl that kept coming to the church that sat towards the back, had big, beautiful hair. See, I made sure I said beautiful, because it is and was. It's a different style now, but it was it was 2008. That's what people did back then.
Did they?
The woman I fell in love with did. Yeah. So anyway, so there was this girl, and I had noticed her a few times, but. What is the but? So, but I didn't know her family very well. Stop laughing at me. I'm not going to do this if you laugh at me. Stop laughing. Okay. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't know her. I knew of her family, but didn't really know them. And again, I was still kind of getting plugged in and meeting people. So I knew of this family, the Hollingsworth family. I knew they had a daughter that went to UNC Chapel Hill, which, for those of you familiar with Pinehurst, it's not too far away. And I also knew that this daughter, who I assumed was now my wife, Mindi, was attending UNC, but still coming home every weekend, which, was great, because she was at church every weekend. So I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Like, go be a college kid. Don't come home and be with your parents every weekend. I also had heard through the grapevine that she wanted to be a missionary to, I don't know, Africa or something. So which is great, but that didn't feel like that's where the Lord was drawing me. And so I was like, well, she seems great. I had just concluded what I will call a complicated relationship personally. So I was like, wish the best for her, but she's probably a weirdo.
This is why you shouldn't gossip, just by the way.
Yeah. I didn't tell other people.
Not gossip, but grapevines are not the authority.
I didn't tell anybody else that you were a weirdo, so that's not gossip. I just thought it.
Oh, well, that's something.
So what happened from there was that I got a little more educated and learned that the Hollingsworth family, in fact, had 2 daughters. One was at Chapel Hill and was just stayed there, didn't come home every weekend. But that daughter had an older sister who was attending Liberty University. I think, had you graduated undergrad at that point?
Yes.
So just finished her undergrad and was home. I didn't really know all the circumstances around that. So anyway, long story short, that went on for that whole time of realization. Took a little while.
Months.
It took a little while to get through. So,
it took months.
One Sunday, her dad, I don't think your dad was he an elder at the point when he preached?
I have no idea.
Probably. Let's be honest. There was like 12 people. They're like, solid Christian man, you will now be elder. So her dad, the senior pastor, was out of town. Her dad spoke at the church and led worship. Not led worship, but
preached.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the word.
That's the word I was looking for. So her dad preached, and I don't know if he remembers this, but he preached on tracing the hand of God through your life as you look back on your story and circumstances, the ways that God has worked and shaped your life, which is interesting now because that's the day I met my wife. So after the sermon, Mindi will tell a different version of this. That's not true. But after the sermon,
it's 100% true.
The Hollingsworth family, I don't think Casey was there. I think it was just,
No.
Yeah. So they were kind of standing around, and people were greeting them as people do at churches after one preaches. And so I went and introduced myself to her parents and to Mindi, and she fell for me right there. It was kind of it. So that was summertime. It's true. That's everything I said is true.
It was almost.
Stop.
Okay.
It's summertime. I think it was, was that already July 4th weekend?
No.
Okay.
No.
So sometime soon after that, we were going to Lake Tillery to spend July 4th. And I think I invited you to that, but you weren't feeling well or whatever, didn't come. And so there was fireworks that evening, as one does on 4th of July in Pinehurst.
And everywhere in
America. Yeah. But specifically in Pinehurst is where we went.
Yes.
So we went to the fireworks that night. You joined my family, I think.
No.
Yeah, my parents were there.
Were you just
I'm
at
like
the...
80% sure they were there.
Thought, like, you came back alone. You like
No,
left
I came
your
back from the
whole
lake.
family.
No, I
they
left
weren't
my
there.
friends.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I drove back from the lake. We went to fireworks, and then the weekend after that was our first official date when we went to Starbucks. And I'm sure we'll get into that, but that's how we met, and that's really all the details that are pertinent to the story. What's the next question?
I don't think so. We can't get off of that easily. Well, you didn't even... so the one thing, the whole missionary confusion thing,
yeah.
I never had the call to be a missionary. Where that came from was I had gotten back from a mission trip to Cambodia.
Yeah.
And I've shared that I never wanted to go on that trip, but God definitely wanted me to be there. But the reason...
It almost cost you a husband.
It almost cost me my life, but yeah.
Details.
But yeah, I got really, 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 really sick in Cambodia. Like, gave me 6 weeks to live sick because my body was just lots of stuff. But anyway, so I was home because of that. I was supposed to start my master's that January and obviously I couldn't even take care of myself. So that's why I had to come home. And the only time that I left that I left home every week was to go to church. But like, I couldn't even stand up during worship. Like,
can we post a picture of your hair? Like, can we
stop?
Like when we met, like just you and I. I'm just saying, I want some context for like the big, beautiful hair.
They
situation.
called me. Well, and that's not. And you left out the other. There was another girl that was like
her.
kind of in our same age, and apparently his parents were talking about both of us, and I was big red because I had
you were big hair.
No, I think it was red because I had like
you were
red
big hair. I was there. I remember.
Okay, big hair. Okay, so I was big hair, and then there was like, and the other one was cutie pie or something, and I was like, well, that's not very fair.
I don't remember. No.
Anyway, so that's where the grapevine issue was. I just got back from a missions trip, but somehow that turned into, she wants to be a missionary and all the confusion. But like, anyway, obviously I noticed the cute guitar player pretty quick. But I was so sick. I had no social energy. I had no energy at all. I literally for months went from my bed to the couch and back again. So it was just not a good place for me. But the other, little detail that he left out was when he finally did introduce himself to me, it came approximately 12 seconds after one of his good buddies
we just
came
happened
over.
To be standing there together.
You beelined it. One of his buddies came over and introduced himself to me, and then I see from the corner of my eye Sean coming, and he kind of interrupted me and his friend, and then he introduced himself to me. So it kind of was that little poke that he needed to get in gear.
I thought you were a weirdo. It's not my fault.
That's fair, but Turns out it
and
wasn't.
you are, but you're just the kind that I wanted to marry. I'm sure we'll get into that.
And it was funny. So he had gotten out of a not so awesome relationship. I didn't want to get married at all. At the time, I knew I was going to be in full-time ministry, and I kind of wanted to be like the female version of Paul, but obviously far lesser known. I just wanted to dedicate my life to the Lord, and so I was very much not looking for any kind of relationship, but it was weird. It was like God was just kind of like carrying me into this, and I was like, well, let's just, I'll go to Starbucks and we'll talk, and I'll find out real quick if this is going to be the one. Well, at this point, I mean, I'd gotten asked out several times throughout my undergrad. No, not like that. I mean, it's a Christian college. That's kind of the point.
Me too, by the way. It's like beating down the doors.
But it was like, no, red flag, orange flag, all the combinations of all the flags. I'm not like, it wasn't going to work out. So I was convinced that I was just going to go for like a few minutes and, figure out quickly all the reasons why this wasn't going to work. Well, we ended up staying at that Starbucks for 3-4 hours-ish, a very, very long time. And I remember, and also, I am a weirdo. I didn't really pull any punches. Like, I think one of my first questions to him was, what do you want written on your tombstone one day?
Date of birth, date of death.
But like, I wanted to know all the things right up front. I didn't want to waste your time, and you didn't want to waste my time. And so we were just asking these big questions. I mean, I remember asking questions about money. Like, what are you a spender? Are you a saver? Politics. Do you want to be a missionary? Do you not want to be a missionary? What do you think about adoption? Like, I was thinking through every single potential red flag issue. And he obviously chuckled with the first couple, but he took it in stride, and then he started firing them right back.
And what did we know? I mean, we were, 23? Not even.
No, I was 20, just turned 22.
Yeah, we didn't know what you were talking about.
We didn't know anything. But yeah, so we just were grilling each other, and me probably more so, because and then I was sick and all this other stuff. So
I do recall vividly at that Starbucks realizing you did not want to be a full-time missionary. And it's like, all right, we're in. And again,
no, I know.
For the 12 people that might be listening that are Phil
called into that.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
No,
he just knew that he was not going to be. That was not his
field
calling.
Looks different, right?
Yes. So anyway, so we were there for a very, very long time, and I left that night confused because I was like, there was nothing. There were no red flags. There were no orange flags. There were no yellow flags, and I was very perplexed. He left that night knowing what? What did you know?
I mean, I was pretty set on like, okay, this could work.
Oh, you are such a liar.
No.
What? No, tell the truth.
I mean, the main thing I left with is like just the affirmation of...
Stop. What did you know? What did you tell me? Like,
I'm a hugger. That's the last thing I said to you in the parking lot is I love to hug.
Okay, so you actually lied to me on the first date.
No. I love to hug you.
You said I'm a hugger.
I am.
You
with
are
you.
not. Yeah,
And I just knew at that moment, like, lifetime of hugs.
He hates physical touch.
That's not true.
From everybody.
That's not true. Anyone that would like to give me a hug, just do it quickly.
And if he kind of twitches, it's okay. No, he told me a few months later that he knew that night that you were going to...
Oh, marry you. Yeah.
You're such a punk. You were such a punk. He told me that. He wisely didn't tell me that night because that would have freaked me out a little bit. But anywho, so then we started dating and talking, and it was like quasi long distance because I went to school. So this was in July. I went back to school in August. I was well enough to do that.
Not to UNC.
Not to UNC, to Liberty. And that was like it's
about 3 hours away.
3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And then but we knew pretty quickly that we were going to get married. And then it was just a matter of
finding a ring from Sam's Club.
True story. True story. We were very young. We were very poor. And it was very beautiful. And I was
I'd
okay
do it
with
again today. That's maybe one of our future questions for advice for engaged or whatever. Like shop at Sam's Club. They got great stuff.
They got good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So yeah, so that is how we met. And then we ended up dating for 8 months, and then we were engaged for 8 months. But also true story, we knew the wedding date 3 months before we got engaged. A while.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Theme of our marriage, whatever you decided, I just was like, yeah, that's fine. That'll work.
It's true.
What do I care?
Well, not everything, but I wanted a November wedding, so
me
we
too.
figured that out.
Real bad.
Okay, that's how we met. Question number 2. What advice do you have for younger couples, both pre-marriage and newlyweds?
Mm-hmm. Lots of wisdom gained over these. Our marriage just turned into a teenager in November,
Yes.
so we're now 13 years in. So this is going on 14. So it's getting a little bratty. if I'm being honest.
What?
Just kidding. I don't
That's
even know what that means.
I don't know either. Bratty.
My advice for those engaged or
Dating.
or dating.
Or looking. Secret
Or
single
looking,
too.
okay, all of those things. Do so. So I was not a good dater. I guess I wasn't. I don't know. I didn't date a bunch of people like you did. But so dating is fun, and whatever you do in those scenes. But I would say my main advice would be to do it with intentionality. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people waste a lot of time in situations that they know aren't right and will never be right.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be by themselves, or they're having fun, or it's fun to be liked, and all of those things. So none of those things are bad or wrong. Just don't sit somewhere that you're either not supposed to be, or continue to pursue with intentionality. And that sounds kind of transactional, maybe, or kind of businessy, but it kind of is. I mean, you're deciding who you're going to spend forever with, and that's maybe thinking about it in that context too, of like this is a forever thing, and not just a flippant like, yeah, I can marry this person. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and we'll figure it out. I think you and I were very intentional during that courtship phase. And the other thing she didn't mention is, as we were dating, and she's getting her master's in counseling, all these books and classes that she would take, and she'd pull out a textbook, literally, as we're painting her apartment or townhouse in Lynchburg, and just start asking very deep questions, and very, very serious, which again, looking back was great. Right. So, yeah, I don't know. What about you? What's your engaged dating advice?
Engaged, dating, single. Yeah, definitely pre-marriage. I 100% agree with that. I think we didn't know what we were doing at the time. But watching God's hand work in that situation, just where we were, we just we were both in a place, we had no reason to be frivolous. Like, we were burnt out from a relationship, but I was burnt out physically and all this other stuff. So we had a very low threshold for the giddiness and the infatuation phase and all this other stuff. But because of that, and I'm not saying that's normal or anything, but because of that, we were able to go into it head first. And I think that's just another way of saying being intentional about it. But but that is my advice, is that you go into a relationship, or the prospect of a relationship, head first, not heart emotional first. Because, and I've actually given this advice to a couple of teenagers that I've mentored, but when you go into it head first and you ask the hard questions up front, you're not wasting anybody's time at that point. You're not setting yourself up for failure. You're not letting them, because most of the time what happens is there's that instant attraction, and you get caught up in all that stuff, and then you leave the hard conversations for later down the road when you already have so much invested in it. And when you're at that point, it's so much harder to walk away from, because you've invested a month, 6 months, a year, more than that. And then to your point of just kind of being in it because it feels good, or being in it because why not? But at that point, then you start to really realize, like, I am not in the same place as this person is. And you start rationalizing all of this stuff. But at that point, it is infinitely harder to get out because you have so much already in it. And so my advice, especially if you're single or early stages of dating, have those hard questions, ask those hard questions and have those hard conversations. And I know the reason that most people don't, I mean, obviously it's not culturally normal to do that. I'm not saying like totally set up like an interview or anything, but interrogation, but also, I think we get like a little nervous. Well, they're going to think I'm weird, or they're not going to like me, or whatever. Okay. Well, then you've just saved yourself a lot of time. Like, that's okay. You know, I very much, I think, surprised Sean when I started asking him these questions, but he kind of chuckled and he took it in stride. And that should be the reaction. Like, again, there's a way to do it, but my advice is to just go in head first. Find out these things first, because when you do, then if it breaks apart afterwards, at least it's for other reasons that shouldn't have been known already. Right. And I will say, one thing that I'm very thankful for in our marriage is that I've never been thrown. Like, I've never been surprised. Like, I've known what?
Well, I was just going to say, boy, what a romantic. I know what you're getting at, but it's like, wow.
No. Lots of other things. No, but with this intentionality part,
for sure.
Stop it. With this intentionality part, like, I've known so many couples who have friends who have gotten married and they're like, oh my goodness, I had no idea he did this, or she did this, or he was like this.
He's
or
a nose picker.
Yeah, like that. But I was surprised at one point when we were, I don't know, we've been married for a few months, and I was making dinner. This is the like extent of my surprise, because we talked so much about everything beforehand. So I was making spaghetti.
This is more embarrassing for you than it is me, by the way.
It's not more embarrassing for me. It's not. But I was making spaghetti, and so I think I texted you and I said, how do you like your spaghetti? And you said plain.
Normal.
No, you said plain.
I like plain. I like normal spaghetti.
I distinctly remember you said plain. And I was like, plain?
Where did we live? We lived in the South, right?
Okay. Plain. Okay. Plain spaghetti. I'm like, does he want like noodles with butter? So I said, I don't know about that. So anyway, I did spaghetti with just sauce. I did spaghetti and sauce. I'm like, I guess that's as plain as you get. And he comes home and he's like, oh, it smells good. And he looks in the pot and he's like, where's the meat? And I'm like, what do you mean, where's the meat? You said plain. And this is like a step up from plain. Anyway, but like, it's a ridiculous story. But the point is like, that was legitimately the only time I ever remember like being surprised by anything. And if it's something as trivial as, spaghetti, like that's a good thing. Like, we knew each other really, really, really well before we got married, and we were best friends before we got married. And so it wasn't a thing. Like, it was so supposed to be. And I know that sounds like so cliche.
Storybook.
But, and then for newlyweds, so if you are married, you need to do that. Yeah, do that.
I mean, you can go first. I think for me, when I look back on our time as newlyweds, I think just leaning into it. Like, you've made your decision, you're in, right? Like, the decision's been made, you've made your commitments, and then just enjoy. Like, don't take things maybe as serious as what the engagement time is. Now it's kind of more time like, hey, let's enjoy. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy each other. Let's be together and kind of figure things out. I mean, to your point, we knew each other well, but we didn't know our habits. Like, we didn't live together. We did not. Yeah, right. So there's things like that where you just got to learn how to be with another human. And like,
right.
We were in a 900 square foot house with, I think, just one dog. We had both of them. We had both, right?
Off the bat.
We didn't have the second one yet.
No.
So anyway, but just figuring out the rhythms of life and like how that works. And obviously that's something we continue to do as you have kids and you move and you get new jobs and you blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think just the enjoyment of being together and just leaning into that. Don't take things so seriously, and maybe don't learn to rely on each other, but not to the point where it, makes or breaks you.
Right.
Well,
I think that's a good point. It's the heavy stuff should come before.
Mm-hmm.
The heavy things should and that's, I guess, our theme right now is when you're really intentional about learning all the things and having all the hard conversations before. And I'm not saying there's not going to be hard conversations. Of course there are going to be afterwards, but your newlywed period, you've done all the really hard stuff. You've worked through things. You've come to agreements on things and come to peace about certain things. And it is an adjustment, obviously. It should be, but it's fun. It's like the first time that you've done all the things and you've done it all right and you've done it all well. And now you get to enjoy the fruit of that, I guess. And it's just, we had a blast. And we lived in this teeny, teeny, tiny little house that we renovated from nothing. I mean, it was a mess. Talk about good premarital counseling though. You want good premarital counseling, renovate a house together.
Yeah.
Not cohabitate, but we were not
that
living
wasn't
there.
An issue because it was uninhabitable.
It was very much uninhabitable, but that was a great project. But anyway, so I would agree with that. Just do all the heavy lifting before you get married.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think marriage, and I guess I'm going back to but don't think marriage is going to solve anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Marriage is not going to solve your problems. Marriage is not going to make you feel more secure in your relationship or yourself. It's not the answer. It should be the exclamation point.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it really begins and your life begins. But for those newlyweds, I agree. Just enjoy it. Enjoy it. Give each other lots of grace. One thing, and this has continued, laugh with each other. Don't take things so seriously. And this is not super PG. So just take a minute if you need to.
Wow.
But one of the best pieces of advice, or funniest, we had an engagement party and my pastor's wife growing up, she was able to come, and people wrote down advice on letters or note cards or something. And then we read them later, I think, or maybe we read some of them in person, but she wrote something that I will never forget. She said, "Fight naked." And I thought, but it's so smart. It's very difficult to stay angry at somebody when you're standing there. But anyway, the point is, don't take yourselves too seriously. Laugh, learn how to laugh, learn how to enjoy each other and give each other lots of grace and grow with each other, because, don't make mountains out of molehills. But again, if you do the heavy lifting and stuff before, it's easy. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think the other thing, and for the newlywed piece of it, and I think you and I have done this for each other as we've remained married, is, I think both of us assume positive intent with each other. So there's frustration and there's friction and there's off days and just things are weird or whatever. But I never think what did she mean by that? Does she still love me? What? It's never, it could be, what did she mean by that? Why is she mad? I don't know what I did. That's all legit, but it's never the things that are important and the things that actually matter. Is she texting another guy? Is there, just all the things that run through people's heads. That's just not a part of even our vocabulary. Right. So,
well, and on that point, we made it, this was part of our heavy lifting when we were dating, but the word divorce is banned from our language. We have never joked about it. We have never uttered it. I know some...
She said she'll kill me from time to time. If you're listening to this, she did it.
Thank you for that. That's nice. No, but we just made that very clear up front. That is never a word that is going to be spoken between us ever. It's not something to tease each other about. It's not something, it's not funny. That's not ever an option. And so we took it literally out of our vocabulary in our marriage. And that, even things like that, especially when you see, friends or other couples, it's just, it gives you so much security because, and one thing that he said to me when we were dating or maybe engaged. I don't know. I was freaking out about something, as I do from time to time. But, he put his hands together and he said, "This is us." And like in a fist, he put his hands together in a fist, and he said, "This is us." And he's like, stuff is going to come at us all the time. Whether circumstances, health, really other relationship issues or drama, work, whatever. But nothing is going to touch this because God has secured this, and nothing is going to touch this. And that was just so profound. And it gave me such a great visual because that's how it's been ever since. I'm not saying we have a perfect relationship. Nobody has a perfect relationship because we're all fallen people, but we are always able to kind of tap into that. And even when we have harder conversations, we are able to step back from the drama and have that like, let's get on we're on the same team. We're on the same page. We need to figure this out. And that's helped tremendously. So I concur.
That's why I went first. Right there.
Look, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Good for you, babe. Okay. Ooh, fun. What's your best parenting advice, at least so far? I mean, granted, we're only like 8.5 years into it, so we are not experts by any means, but we have a lot of them. So that's...
Yeah,
something.
there are a lot of little people. Best parenting advice. My mind goes to a couple places. Number one, this isn't right for everybody, and not saying, our story is better because it's different from other people's, but I think the best thing for our marriage specifically, and has helped us be better parents, is that we waited a little bit to have kids. Again, season of life, we were young, we had that, we had that ability to do that. So we were married for 5 years before, almost 5 years before we had our first, right? So that's not, I guess, specific parenting advice, but that's just one of the things that I kind of look back on, and I'm thankful for having that time together. Again, like I think my parents are a great example of the opposite of that.
Could not be more opposite.
I got to participate from the very early parts of their marriage, and I'm sure that grew them together in a way that was very different, but still significant. So, again, just our story. I think that was good for us. Parenting advice, I think of all the things that I really do poorly. Like, I feel like I go through most of the day going, not a great dad. Didn't nail that one. But it's some of the same things that we were talking about with marriage. I mean, remembering that the kids are kids. Yeah. The expectations that I have for them are high because they're so smart and they've shown aptitude for so much, but they're little kids and need to let them be kids. So I think that's one of them. Just being present with them, especially, and again, I'm going through the things I'm bad at. So this is not like,
I'm an expert.
Observe me, follow me as I
own parenting.
Yeah. But just the age of distraction, like everything is vying for our attention. I literally have 2 phones, a work phone and a personal phone. TVs can do that, iPads, whatever, even just like, we're going through a move right now and just packing up all of our junk and, just being intentional and present with your kids and just letting them know that you're there, I think is a big one. And not always, maybe this is again, the man trying to fix everything, but just not always being that person, just being there and being present, especially, those of us that work full time out of the house. And, when I'm home, it's kind of like, okay, let's get caught up on the other stuff that we have to get done. But, and that's important. And I want to see my kids or I want my kids to see me doing that. Right. It's important that I go to work and I provide for our family and the things that we do. It's important that we take care of our home when we're here and we, clean up occasionally and mow the yard occasionally and stuff like that. But, I don't know. That was a big, long, rambling answer, and I don't know if there was any actual advice in any of that.
I think there was. One that I'd like to add to that is be united as the mom and dad. Do not kids are really good at going to mom and then going to dad to try to get different answers sometimes. But our girls have known from the get-go that's not going to happen. We are 100% united always. So if they hear an answer from Sean, they're going to hear the same answer from me. And if a couple of them have tried to go around and that got shut down. That got shut down quick.
And we can just fight later.
Yeah, well, sure. But that's a very big one to me. Also, I have noticed that, excuse me, but when we don't argue in front of your kids, don't fight in front of your kids, and we don't really fight, but even I've noticed when we're just messing with each other, a couple of them more than others, they're like, are you joking? Are you not joking? They feel that and we're totally just messing with each other. But they don't they do not like that. They do not, when we're not in 100% harmonious agreement, they get very sensitive to that. And so that's just advice, is just be very, very careful of how stay united, in front of them, but also stay united in front of them, edify marriage, build up marriage in front of your kids, because the world is taking it apart. The world is doing everything it can to tell your children that you don't need to be married, that marriage is not the end all, that marriage really isn't all that great to begin with, that you don't need a man or you don't need a woman, or you can just do this multiple times, or whatever the case may be. So as Christians, we need to do everything that we can to combat that. And I'm not saying sit them down in a class and explain it, but their life, your home is their primary education. And so that would be my advice. Stay united on all fronts, but especially in front of your kids. They need to see you be that loving husband and father, and that loving wife and mother, and that you do it together, and that you enjoy each other and have fun. And then when we laugh, we laugh a lot, but when we laugh, you can see it in their eyes, how much joy that they have, even if they're not directly a part of the conversation that we're having, they are elated when that happens. So we make a huge difference in their lives. And a lot of it has nothing to do with actual directness with them. How we live with each other significantly impacts our children. So just remember that. Yeah.
I think along those lines too, and maybe this is stating the obvious, at least in Christian circles, quote unquote, but prioritizing our marriage in front of our kids. Yeah. And when I come home, I go see, they ambush me, which is great. But mom is the one, I have a conversation with mom, and right. I want them to see that. And then, when we're all playing together, we're hanging out, sometimes, kids, you can go play by yourself and you're going to be just fine. And, kind of fostering that independence, but just showing them that, mom and dad are together, like you're saying, and we're one, but we're also first. Right. And that they can feed from that. They can be a part of that, but they're not going to dictate our rhythms.
And that's huge, because I know just statistically, so many divorces happen when empty nest comes. So when the kids are out of the house, that's when parents realize and couples realize, I have no idea who this person is anymore. We've been roommates for the past however many years, all this other stuff. And it's scary, but what's happened in that a lot of times is that kids have replaced the priority of the marriage, and it's not become about the marriage anymore. It's become about the children. Right. And that's just not how God designed it. It's marriage first. It's your husband first, ladies. Gentlemen, it's your wife first.
I love the sound clips I'm going to be able to take from this and just make it my ringtone.
But it's true, but you need to prioritize each other first. And that, it might seem backwards for kids, but that's better for them than worshiping them. That is better for children. Prioritizing your marriage is better for children than making it all about them or putting them first or all this other stuff, because they need to see that, because again, one day they're going to emulate hopefully you want them to, what you have, and find a spouse so anyway, but I completely agree with that. We need to make, and that was actually the next question, is why is prioritizing marriage so important? So look at us. We're so
it's
smart.
very important. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the other thing you just said too, prioritizing each other and just staying together through this season of child rearing. That was a very
old man thing to say.
Let me cross my legs here. Be getting my very comfortable chair, which, by the way, new chairs.
They're pretty nice.
For those of you that have been a guest, she got new chairs, and they're very comfortable. But just learning to stay, like, I can easily see how you can lose yourself in this season.
Yes.
And we're just so busy. Like, life is busy, and we joke, like, we text in the mornings or whatever. Hey, how's your morning going? I'm tired. That's usually the answer. Like, I'm tired. And sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm tired, and I won't be maybe in like 18 to 20 years. Like,
I know.
When does, and it's great. Don't say that as a complaint, but I definitely can see if we aren't intentional, how you get to the end of that and you go, what now? Like, that had been the priority. Our priority's gone. I was just thinking when you were talking about, us being together and how we enjoy being around each other. I think we're really good at, and maybe this is a weird thing to say, but I think we're really good at being independent together. And so, like, the quiet time, like, we're not, there's not like, okay, like, what are we going to do now?
You don't have to fill the silence.
Yeah. And that's let's go sit on the couch and just be quiet for a little.
But it's true. So this is weird. This is one of the very distinct things that I remember when we were dating, is that we were comfortable just being together and being quiet. We neither one of us felt the urge to fill the quiet,
that would
the
make
silence.
A super boring podcast. Here's Sean again.
This is what we're doing. We're being quiet.
But
it was, and that just struck me in the moment, and then later on, is just we are very comfortable just being quiet. Like, we don't have to fill the space. We don't have to be busybodies. We don't have to, like, mask over something. Like, we're perfectly content just being together and hanging out. And when we get to go on an anniversary trip or whatever, like, big chunks of the drive, like, are just quiet, and it's lovely.
Doesn't marriage sound awesome?
It does.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that's a testament to, like, really just having that person and being so comfortable and having that depth of a relationship where it's like I said in the introduction, like, you just exhale and you're just like, okay, I can let all the things down and I can just veg out if I need to. And but that's not to say, and I will say, we do, at least he does to me, push me. You do push me, and you do inspire me, and it's not like this rollover, oh, you just do whatever you want to do, I'll do whatever I want to do, and we'll, like, touch base. Like, that's not it. When we talk, when we have decisions to make, we talk about them a lot. We pose lots of questions. We push back, we play the devil's advocate. We do all this. He has encouraged me more than once to jump off the deep end with a couple of ministry projects. And so it's not, don't hear comfortable with silence as complacency.
Yeah,
I guess
that's a great point.
What I'm trying to get at, because we definitely push each other and stretch each other in a, let's just take full advantage of this life together. So anyway, just clarify that. But yeah, so prioritizing marriage.
Be so quiet after this.
Stop. Although you probably will be. So prioritizing marriage is so important. And then just, like, another little, I guess, exclamation point at the end of that. That's how God designed it. So let's just, like, bring it back to the whole biblical part of this biblically lit thing, is God designed marriage to be a picture of his relationship with us. Like, marriage is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we cannot let distractions, even the cute little distractions called our children, hijack what is most important. Like, obviously our children are important, and jobs are important, and ministry is important, and all these other things are important, but marriage is first after God, if you're married. So anyway.
Well,
I
have more thoughts.
Oh, please,
I mean,
please give me all of the thoughts.
No, but I mean, bringing it back to being lit biblically, my calling, and kind of maybe back to advice for newlyweds to a certain extent, but like the reason we're doing this at all, the reason you and I are married at all, is because that is the picture of Christ in the church, right? So I'm called to love my wife like Christ loved the church. And so when I think about what is that, what did he do? What does that mean? Well, he chose the church, he chose his bride, and that was the end of it. Like, it wasn't, he chose his bride because the church was super attractive at the time. Not that you,
watch
let's be careful. But it was a choice that was made, that was then written in stone and never could waver, right? So when we talk about not joking about divorce and stuff like that, that's part of the reason why, is because the decision, like, it's been made. Right. The decision's been made. And what else did the church do? Well, we're not terribly faithful. And
at
Christ,
all.
and not just in a like other lovers type of deal, but like just all the thing, my finances, my thoughts, the way I handle things at work, whatever it is, I'm not faithful very much, and yet Christ loves me anyway. Okay, he did that, and then he died, right? So that's the level of commitment that we're talking about, and that we did talk about before we did this, right? So those expectations, maybe you don't understand them fully until you're in it, but like that's what that's the model that we're doing, and why we're doing this.
Yeah, it's that covenant, and that's a very, very important and heavy and weighty word, and so that's why I'm so thankful we started the way that we did, is because I think while we were very, very young and we didn't realize everything obviously right away, we did both have this understanding of the gravity of what it was, this was not a flippant fairy tale that we were just caught up in. This was not let's just kind of see where the rainbow takes us and see if the infatuation is going to last for a few weeks or months. And like, no, this was it. Like, this is what we are. I
think you say it quite often. Well, not quite often. I've heard you say it often, that it's sad that how many movies end at the wedding.
Yes.
And that's not like, that's the beginning.
Literally the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. The happily ever, it's just that flippant phrase that comes at the end, and it's happily ever after. But like the whole point of it is just getting to the altar. And it's like, no. That's the beginning. And you do. And again, if you're wise and you're able to, if you're doing all that heavy lifting before you get there, and then growing together as you go. But that's the beginning, and that's what's fun. Like, I can't remember the first time I heard it, but there was somebody, I think it was a pastor talking to someone younger than him, but he'd been married 15 or years or whatever, and he said, he was talking about, how's your marriage and all this other stuff. And he very proudly looked at the pastor and said, well, I love her just as much today as I did when we got married. And the pastor was like, well, that's so incredibly sad. Like, you should love her way more now than you did. You've lived with her for 15 years or whatever it was. And that was very impactful to me, because it's so true. Our goal should not be to maintain this like standard of the wedding day, because again, that's not the climax. Right. That's the very beginning. And when you view it, the wedding day, as like the bottom, well, then it's so much better, because then all you're going is up. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I'm not saying there's not going to be lows, but like, you get to grow up together. That's and you get to inspire each other, and you get to live this amazing life. But it just goes up, and you should love each other way more now than you did when you were younger because of that. Right. If you're only trying to maintain this threshold of like wedding day high or whatever it is, like, it's sad.
And our wedding day was fine. I mean, it was fine.
I mean, how much of it do you remember? It was
Very
kind
little.
of a blur
It's
to
a
me.
blur. Yeah.
There was no alcohol involved.
I was
by
there.
The way.
Like, I know I was there. But
It was a blur. There's so many things going on. But
that's another story.
yes. Anyway, so keep marriage a priority. It is important. Next one, and I got this a couple times. How do we keep things fresh? Keep the romance alive after 13 years and 4 little kids.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, always.
How do we keep things fresh? Fresh. The first thing that comes to mind, and you said it earlier, like, I think we've cultivated a friendship that's extremely deep. I mean, to say you're my best friend doesn't feel...
It feels corny.
Well, it feels corny, but it doesn't feel like enough.
Right,
like,
yeah.
Like, you're my best friend, but like, you're also my best friend.
Right.
When I think about, and it's some of it's the day and age we live in. Like, we can stay connected more than people have ever been able to before. Right. So, just the thoughts, and you're really good at it. Just, hey, thinking about you, love you, whatever, during the day. And it always kind of hits me at the right times, it seems, when you're tired or you're in a crappy meeting or whatever. I think those kinds of things, just the reminders that, like, hey, we're busy, things are crazy, I prioritize you, and I see you, and I'm still there. I think that's it. I think you mentioned it earlier too, just laughing a lot together. I mean, I think we just enjoy each other and just enjoy being, at least I like you. I don't
think so. I know it.
You don't have to like me. Like, I'm looking for some affirmation here. So that's part of it. Like, things that, I think kind of some of the cliche things that we're probably not great at right now is like regular date nights. And, but on the flip side of that, like, our kids go to bed at a certain time. You've been really good about rhythms for our kids, which is another advice I would give, is the importance of rhythms for kids. But the evenings have almost kind of been date nights for us, because it's like, all right, kids are in bed, we still have an hour or so before we're going to bed. Like, it might look like Netflix a lot of nights, right? But we're going to do that together, and we're just going to enjoy being together. Some nights it's like, hey, let's talk about the day, or whatever needs to happen in that time. So maybe that's why I don't feel like we've lost a whole lot by not.
No, and I agree with that. I think, and it's got to be true to your personalities and what you did before. But one thing, like, we were never like big date night people anyway. Like, even before kids, we didn't like go out on the town all the time. Like, we're very comfortable being at home. We're very comfortable just being with each other and not having an agenda. And so that has transitioned really well for kid season or young kid season at this time, is just because a lot has changed, but we still get those quiet evenings together. And it's, I hear people like, you need to go out. You need to have a date.
Date night is like, I want to just be quiet and with you, know, we can talk, but just like not kid noise and just
not kid noise. But frankly, I don't want to go out with other noise either most of the time. I don't want to go sit in a busy restaurant and just I just want to relax.
Good. I will not take you out.
No, but I mean, there's a time for that. Don't get me wrong. And again, we're weird. Okay. Let me just preface that we are not the normal in that, but we are very comfortable just, being together. And there have been times now, if, a grandparent is offering to sit with the kids while we go out,
100%.
Then we're out. But
grandparents hear us on that one. We are in for getaways and all that.
Yes, but otherwise, I completely agree. And one of the things that I was thinking about too is what you said. We text each other all the time throughout the day. If anything, whether anything happens or not. It's weird
when it's a couple hours. I'm like, what is she doing?
I know. Well, and I feel like it's been like that lately.
Yeah,
and you
for
just
sure.
because I'm like, I feel guilty because I've been packing and just, today was just nuts. But anyway, but that is one thing we've always done. Always, is we are constantly in touch with each other, and that has I don't think either of us realize how profound that is and how grounding that is until you're right. A couple hours go by and I'm like, what's he doing? I don't know what's happening right now.
Yeah, she's very controlling.
Well, yes. No, but 2 Sundays ago.
Oh yeah.
I went to church.
You nearly called the cops on me.
Well, I went to church.
Yeah, I guess tell the story.
So we listed our house, and Sunday was the first day we were letting people in the house. We had an open house coming, and we knew it was going to be a bajillion people, and the toilets decided to get clogged. And we were like, are you joking me? And it's like 20 minutes before we're leaving for church. And so I took all the girls and took them to church, and then Sean went to Home Depot and tried to deal with the toilets. Well, I guess I had someone coming to pick something up or something, and they needed to pass. And so I quickly texted you, and then he didn't text me back. And I was like, well, that's really weird. Like, I know what you're doing unless like you're around your phone. Anyway, so I texted him again, like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes later, and then he didn't answer. And then I texted him again, and I was like, this is really weird. Like, I know where you are. Did he get in an accident, like on the way home from Home Depot? Like, what is happening? And then I texted his work phone, which I never do. And then he didn't answer that either. And I was like, he's dead. Like, something has happened. But it was so weird because obviously during the workday, obviously during the workday, I don't have an expectation of immediate response. But like, then I knew it was going. It turns out he was watching service on his phone, and he wasn't getting notifications. No notifications until it stopped, and then all of them came. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Where are you? And I was legitimately getting concerned. But anyway, all that to say, like, so we just are constantly in communication with each other, which I think is really, really important. So, and again, some people can't, but keeping things fresh and romance alive, like, we flirt and we have fun and we laugh, and it's just, that never has changed. And I'm not saying that it's not possible to get in ruts where we're just like, again, tired.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the little stuff too. And, out in public or at church or whatever, putting our arms around each other or holding hands, like just the kinds of things I think that feel or could be stale.
Yeah.
I really haven't been. So good job. No. Yeah, A+. I'm happy.
I think I'm good too. Right, we're cool. Good. Okay, next one.
I had 4 kids with me.
That's fair. That is fair. Okay, best advice for husbands: what to do or what not to do. Dun dun dun.
Should this be you answering?
I know. I thought about that. Okay. I don't know if it should be both. How about you do and I'll do?
Okay, best advice for husbands. I mean, we've talked about it. I don't know if I have anything super profound, especially you didn't give me any time to prepare, like Google good answers, things husbands should do, especially on Valentine's Day. I'm not overly romantic. I'm not the best gift giver. No. But I don't think either of those things are your love language, so we're worked. Okay. Yeah. But I think that intentionality, I think for me, what I try to do, I mean, a couple of things. The first thing that comes to mind is my role as a husband is just to support you. And we've talked about that. Mm-hmm. Like, I joked about not wanting to be a missionary and called to the mission field and all that. But what I have felt called to do, and we've talked about this, I think before we got married, you have a call to ministry that's very specific. We're all Christians. We are all in the ministry.
Right.
My ministry has been supporting my family and you specifically in a way that allows our collective ministry and what you do to flourish. Right. So I think just stepping in as a husband, stepping into that role of provider. There's decisions that I make or things that I do, work wise, professionally, just, think promotions that I've pursued, things that I've done. Not that I wouldn't have outside of the context of a family, but that it's honestly kind of maybe backwards has made it easier to step into more responsibility professionally because I know that allows what we're doing to grow. So I think that's part of it. The other thing I was thinking of is just, and you can tell me if I'm good at this or not. You specifically in our season of life do pretty much everything that holds our family together. Like, you educate our children, you take care of the home, you write books, you do a podcast, you get up earlier than I do, for sure. And I know I need to get up earlier and work out more. I know, like, I get it. You don't have to say it. Just leave that part out. Just appreciating that. And so hopefully I do a decent, I know sometimes do better than others, but like, you know, kind of going back to the texting and stuff all the time. Like, what a great, easy way to just say, hey, I appreciate, like, thanks for doing all this.
Right.
Or, like, even the stuff we have going with the house right now, like, you have single-handedly sold our house pretty much and, you know, gotten it ready. I mean, you clean, you know, it was super clean before, so we didn't have like a lot of cleaning that we had to do, but like, you got it ready, and to the point where, like, I had been on a work trip and walked into the house and I was like, why haven't we been living like this? This is amazing. I didn't even know it could look like this. So, just being, showing that appreciation and showing that you're seen and valued and, we're in it together, I think.
Yeah. I like all of that. And it's very similar to what my first thought was, for husbands. So when men date women and want to marry someone, they pursue. That's the word. Mm-hmm. There's this strong pursuit. Yep. It's very intentional. You use the word intentionality. It is very intentional. It is very strong. It is very obvious, like all the things, right? And then what tends to happen is, okay, well, you get married, you have pursued, you have conquered, but you've pursued, you have gotten the reward, right?
That's right.
Like, she is mine forever, and that's it.
Club her over the head
and I think,
drag her
there
off.
you go. But I think what can happen is that pursuit just stops completely or drastically, and because of that, it goes and now there's not a void. I think it goes from pursue to provide.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm not saying that there's not a shift that should happen, obviously. However, sometimes it can be more stark than others, and women can feel like, oh, he doesn't pursue me at all anymore. And because he goes to work all the time. And in a man's mind, that can be, you're providing, I'm doing all these things for you. And that can get lost in translation. But that's not the case with us, which I'm grateful for, because you are very good at sending me those just reminders and thank yous. But truth be told, I've also become good at telling you to do that too.
Sure. That's a big deal. There's
in
some
the
advice.
moment. And that's not me getting down on him. That's like, hey, I'm feeling really overwhelmed and very underappreciated because I've been spent my entire days, all the days with children who I'm having to like corral and doing all of this stuff. I need you to see me right now. Just please see me. But to have the relationship where you can say, I am feeling this way. Can you just like lift me up a little bit right now or listen to me? But we've gotten to the point where I can say things like that and you will immediately reciprocate that. You'll validate that first of all. And then you will step into that because, and I can't speak for guys, but I have noticed that guys like being told things.
Sure.
They don't like being mind readers.
What gift do you want? Just tell me what you want.
So that is something. So for husbands, just a reminder, like, don't stop the pursuit after the marriage. Yeah. Like, we're thankful that you provide. Don't get me wrong.
It looks different.
Yeah.
But
we love to be taken care of. Like we love that. But don't just let the pursuit aspect fall by the wayside. Sure. Like, we still want to feel beautiful and we still want to feel admired and we still want, again, pursued. We want to be pursued. So that would be my advice for husbands. Okay, now let's turn it around. Wives.
So who goes first on this one?
I guess, I don't know. I feel like you should always go first, but I will. I mean,
I got plenty of advice for you. The first thing I think you should do, 10
so
10
fast.
Yeah. No, there's
fast.
there's
Yeah,
a
2
10
for you.
yeah,
So how
no.
many for us?
Yeah, this is going to be a bit. So settle in. I think the main thing that you do well, and not that the advice is only for things that you do well, but you actually do this well.
Great.
I'm trying to, so I'm not very articulate. So thanks everybody for hanging in there. I think me and maybe guys in general find a lot of their confidence in how their spouses value them. Maybe that's the right way to say it. So I guess maybe backing up to some of the advice piece, and for, especially for newlyweds, is your identity. And one thing that's been really great for us because of the foundation that we had, your identity is not your marriage, right? Your identity is who you are in Christ and who you are as a Christian and what that means. But that doesn't mean that it affects how you treat each other, but it doesn't mean that how you react to me doesn't have any effect on me.
Right.
And so, the things when you say, hey, I do appreciate that you provide, or, I have a long work trip and it's not like, oh, you're leaving again,
Right.
When I already feel guilty enough, like I don't need you to pile on there. But that you can see the bigger picture of like what is happening and why we're doing what we're doing. Just the confidence and the I'll say self-worth, that's probably, again, my identity is in Christ, but just how that builds you up and gives you that solid foundation, and knowing that, kind of going back to the things that I know about my wife, like she loves me unconditionally. Doesn't mean every day's perfect, but it means that whatever else junk is happening in life, like I know that that's not changing.
Right.
I'm obviously a physical specimen, right? So she's very lucky in that regard. I think that's my main advice for wives is just know how important, like we're not good at articulating that. We're not good at saying, I need you to tell me how much you love me right now. Like I need that. But I need that.
Right.
Right. So I think just knowing that even if we don't react the way you think we should, that stuff is heard and matters and is needed.
Right. I agree with that. And that piggybacks off of what I was thinking too, is we like to nag.
Yes. Yeah.
The Bible has a few things to say about that. And it's very easy to do. And I have found myself struggling. So I stay home with the girls and I homeschool and I work from home. And like home to me is not just like the place that we sleep, right? This is like our world. And then we go out from this to other things. So home is a huge part of my life and a part of the girls' lives. And all that to say, I'm home a lot, and so I see things more than you do because you're gone and outside of the home. And so I see that light bulb that needs to be fixed, or I see this. But what happens without me realizing it in the moment, to my fault, is I start like getting anxious about it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, why is this not fixed? It's still not fixed. Whereas he is off working his tail off and, busy. And all he wants to do is come home and just be able to let his guard down. And when I come at him and be like, this still isn't done. And which again, no, it's still not done. But to put that in perspective of let him have a minute. Yeah, eventually. But just remember, like, put yourself in each other's shoes. And especially for wives, like, do not let that be the first thing. And it's been said and written about a million times, but let them know in more than one way that you respect them. That, yes, love. And we use that word all the time, and it's all this other stuff. And that obviously is very important. But I think men, and again, I'm not a man, but when we show respect to our husbands, when we lift you guys up in a way that is not just lovey-dovey, like, whatever, but hey, I have seen how hard you're working and I appreciate that and I respect that. Or like I had a Bible verse that I was reading last week or whenever it was, and it reminded me of you and how hard you were working. And it was like, someone who works hard will dine with kings or something like that. And he just happened to be in an event where like there was a lot of leadership and but all that to say, like, look for opportunities to lift your husbands up in a respectful way, not so that means the avoidance of nagging. But it's also to men, I think, more substantial than just saying, oh, I love you so much. And again, you like that is important too, but just like, hey, I see you. I admire you. Right. I admire what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I see how hard you're working and, and stuff like that. I am not a great homemaker. I'm really not. I'm not. I hate cooking. I hate it. And that has...
The worst part about it is that you're good at it. Like, it'd be one thing if, like, you make these terrible things and you're like, that's so good, babe. Thank you. But, like, whatever that chicken stuff is that you made the other night, Jesus, so good. It's annoying.
I hate cooking. And if you listen to episode, I don't know what it was. I was anorexic for a while. And so that's a lot of that stems from that. But like, I'm not very good at it, but that's one way that I can love you and respect you is to feed you well and all that, which is
not too well.
But it's these little things, ladies. Like it doesn't take a lot. But I think to what you said earlier, babe, was just not only assuming the best, but looking out for the best in your spouse too.
And calling it out. Yeah.
And calling it out. Like just look for opportunities to do that. And I promise you, like, I don't know if you guys have seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but one of the things that I really loved about that movie is the man is the head, but the woman is the neck. And she turns the head and not in they were probably meaning it in a manipulative way. However, I have noticed that if my attitude is good and I am happy and things are good, like things change drastically in this house. No, you
can ruin my day for sure.
Things change drastically in this house. If I say something in a mean way, if I am cranky, if I am whatever, like things change fast the other direction. And so I think that we have a lot, and not saying this in an authoritative way, but like women, we have a lot of influence in our homes and we have a lot of influence in our marriages. And I think if we started using that influence to lift our husbands up more and to edify them, and like so many other things would change. It's a waterfall effect. So just something to keep in mind, like offer respect, offer love, offer that admiration, and watch how, not just what we say, but how we say things. Because remember, so much of communication is completely nonverbal. And again, it's making that dinner when I absolutely hate to cook, but just do it.
Gosh, I'm such a taskmaster. You will have dinner for me.
Anyway, that is so not how it is. But when it does happen, he is really good at like, and I never know if it's because the food is actually good or if it's because I just cooked for the first time in so long.
That I'm just so hungry.
Yes.
Yeah. I will say when you cook, one of the things that is just so endearing is that you have no idea what a normal portion is for a human. And you like not in like that she only makes one little piece of something. She's like, "Oh, I found this recipe and I tripled it." And it's like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm eating chili for the next 8 weeks." Like that is so much food. I'm literally the only person in the house eating this.
I think part of it is because I hate cooking, and so I figured if I just do it in big batches, then it'll just last longer.
It does.
Oh my word.
It does.
Anyway, okay. So there you go, wives. Lift them up. All right. And that was really all that there was, but any final thoughts? Any stories you want to share or not share?
Stories? I don't know. I think Wow, open mic time.
Open mic.
Yeah, I did not prepare for this at all.
Yeah.
No, I think, just kind of maybe putting a bow on it, at least for me, when I think about our marriage and, going on 14 years, how that is and is not a long time at the same time. But like, obviously looking back on our marriage, there's a lot of great memories and, things that we've done and how we've grown together. But I also like, I don't like now is the best, right? And I kind of, as I look back through our marriage, it's always been like now is the best.
Right.
Now, we've just kind of grown that way. Even to the point, and it's getting, maybe we're turning into old people. I don't know. Maybe that's,
we've always been.
Yeah. But
kind of
like to the point where it's like, wait, and not in a cheesy way, but like, what did I do before I knew you? Like, how did I function? What was life before that? So, because we're just so kind of integrated into each other, we're two becoming one. We're like one old person, I guess, moving around together. But I don't know. It's been good. Let's do it some more.
I plan to.
Yeah.
I hope.
I'll also say, since I'm super romantic, like this is your Valentine's Day gift. Okay. So happy Valentine's Day. I love you. And I'm going to say publicly to all 35 people or whatever that's going to download this. I love you and I appreciate you. I see you. I hear you. You're loved.
Wow.
You're a great
Thanks.
mother. You're a wonderful cook. You're an amazing author. I'm a blessed man.
Yeah, you are.
Mic drop. What would you like to say? Can I come on again? Is this my last time?
I probably no.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, that's so funny. Oh my word. Yeah, I completely, like, I don't know. And I don't want to sound, I don't think I'm taking advantage of how sweet things, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just,
no, because it's not always like it. I don't want to make it sound like it's always cloud nine, because it's not.
It's not.
I mean, it's not.
No, we do not walk around like on clouds and
You're beautiful.
rainbows
I love you
and
so much.
deeply gaze into each other's eyes and like make out for 15 minutes every time they come home. But I don't know. It's just so real. But I think another big thing too, when we talked about being communicating, and I know that's, we said like we text all the time and all this other stuff, but like really talking. And I think our dating set us up well for that, because we were able to just ask all the questions and all of the different things. But it's so important. We've had some really, like last year, and I've shared this at some point, I don't remember when, but last year was a big year of transition for us. And we have been just with a couple of things. Well, the two biggest, I think, was with church and house. And we're not going to get into situations, but this has been like a years long journey for both. And there have been a lot of hard conversations, a lot of, we don't know what to do. What do we do next?
Don't always agree on what to do.
We don't always agree on what to do. And there have just been some heavy conversations, but I guess my encouragement, one thing I'm thankful for that we did, and my encouragement to others, is to talk, like do whatever you need to do.
Start
to do
a podcast.
That.
Like you have to.
You have to sit them down and do a podcast with them. No, but prioritize that communication. And if that means that you have to leave the house because for some reason you can't do it, okay, well then do that. Like whatever the context needs to be for you guys to be able to have a deep and real conversation. Ask questions, like be there for each other. Make sure you guys know that you're the number one cheerleader in your other's life. And then again, we go back to this, but enjoy each other. Like, I think that's such a missing piece, I guess, especially in Christian circles. We like to talk like so high and lofty about marriage, and that's good. That's right. Like, obviously,
Christ died for the church. Yeah. I mean, I think he likes being with them too.
Yeah. Occasionally anyway.
Yeah.
But just enjoy each other and that's one thing that I love most about our marriage is like, I genuinely like you.
Okay.
I mean, I love you, but I enjoy being like, I really do. And like the very rare moments where we get to like go out by ourselves or whatever, or at night when the door is shut in the bed of the little girls' bedrooms, and we just get to, again, it's that exhale. It's
funny. You talk about like words of affirmation or the things that we need from each other. And we tell each other we love each other a lot. Authentically, but it's funny, and I say funny, we say it jokingly, but we're really not like, hey, I love you. It's like, no, I know, but do you still like me?
But do you like
really? You're like, I know you're gonna love me forever, so great. And that's but like, do you like me? So I like you. Okay, well that actually means more in the moment
because we know we're committed. We know like that's not gonna change. But we're still liking each other. We're still doing this, but we're able to touch base and like, and again, you're right. It's joking, but then it's kind of like, but we, we're like, but really? But do you?
Like, I don't like you at this moment.
Oh, but yes. So yeah, Valentine's Day, and this is just timing wise worked out. Valentine's Day is definitely a Hallmark holiday. I think it gets amped up, and it's good. I mean, celebrate romance and marriage and all this other stuff. But also know that hopefully for you too, what's most important isn't that stuff, because that's just the dressing.
Right.
Like, it's just not the priority, because when you have something that's really grounded and really true and solid, like, yeah, it's nice to do fun things, and it's nice to go on vacations, and it's nice to do this, but like, be content and learn to be content with each other and enjoy it.
Yeah, every day's Valentine's Day.
Every day's, every day's Valentine's Day, babe.
For sure. I'm gonna get you the same thing I got you yesterday.
Last year.
I got you something once for maybe a card or something. They closed the Walmart pharmacy at work though, where I normally get my
cards.
Yeah.
So that going out there. No. Yeah. Well,
we'll figure it out.
You're buying me a house theoretically, so that's probably gonna
we'll see.
Count for a lot of.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Hey, that is on the public record. Yeah.
Well, we have had that conversation before. This counts as this present and this present and this present.
I got you great Christmas presents, so don't even.
He got me.
What did I get you?
A toaster.
Yeah, and it's an awesome toaster. How many toasts does it do at once?
How many toasts?
Toasts. How many does it do at once?
4.
Right. How many kids do you have?
Very big toaster.
How many kids do you have?
I have 4.
Okay, you're welcome.
4. I got the box. I got it out of the box, and I was like, "This is like a microwave."
And it matches the kitchen
big that we're moving from.
I mean, it might match the new one. I worked really hard to find that toaster.
He got me a toaster. And then he got me a doorbell camera.
Yeah.
Which I did want.
Yeah.
Not necessarily as like a Christmas present. But you did give me it.
I got you another thing.
You got me another thing?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Taking it back.
The toaster and the doorbell thing.
Nope.
What was the other one?
Not telling you.
Oh no. What was the third one? The toaster.
Boy, I feel seen and appreciated.
Stop it. What was the third one? This is embarrassing.
Wow, it is.
Well, I got you good presents too.
I know.
Don't even.
And I like them.
Babe, what was it? What was the third one?
Nope.
Oh no.
It starts with a C.
A C?
Actually, it's 2 words that start with a C. I'm spelling it out in my head.
What?
This is good. This is good radio here.
The
cake carriers, dum-dum.
The cake carriers?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, the cake carriers. I thought you said kit carriers. I was like, kit carriers. The cake carriers. Yes. He did get me cake
People have turned this
carriers.
off long ago. We are literally talking to no one.
We're done. Okay, we're done. Well, thank you, friends, for joining our endearing conversation today. We're going to high five. Oh, yeah. We're awesome. If you have any questions about marriage, because we are obviously experts and forever have nailed it. Any questions about marriage or anything else? Prayer requests, stories of how God's moving in your life. I'm here for it. My email address is kingswind@gmail.com. That's KINGSWIND@gmail.com. Or social media, or if you know me, text me. I am here for you. I do hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And please know, as always, that I am praying for you, that God will continue to illuminate His Word in your life, in your heart, in your marriage, in your friendships, and your relationships, and that He would ignite your faith like never before.